Hi there, welcome back to Robyn Scherer Photography. Today I'm going to talk about the new AI regenerative healing and cloning tool, and I'm going to walk you through how I use it on this image, and then I'll also take you into Photoshop because this young lady has a little bit of peeling and suntan issues, so I want to smooth out her skin, but the AI works really well and I wanted to show you how to use it. So let's get into it. Okay, this is Sook straight out of camera. I'm going to go ahead and pop on my basic preset for it, and I will use the eyedropper as usual to check my white balance, and it's a little too pink for me, so I'm going to pull that down, and otherwise I think it looks good. You can see in my other videos how I use the eyedropper to check skin tone, and I'm going to do that right now after I go ahead and crop it to an 8x10. So when you crop, again, I have another video on that. You don't want to crop at joints and cut off the joints. You always want to crop like mid joint. So, and then I'm going to bring the crosshairs on her eye where I want the viewer to be looking. And I'll straighten that up just a little bit and brighten it a little bit. So from here, you can see the little bit of sun tanning results. So what I'll first do is zoom in quite a bit here and show you how I use the generative AI tool. So without this clicked, so it's not clicked, you're going to choose that and you can get rid of her flyaways. And that will happen pretty quickly when this is not checked. So obviously I don't like that. It made it worse. So when I click this, and this is incredibly time consuming, so I'm only going to do a couple so that you can see. Now you'll click subtract and apply. You'll see that it takes a few minutes to do it. Sometimes it's quick, but depending on how many spots you have, it's quicker. But you can see how that did a much better job. I'll go ahead and refine it just a little bit here and get the rest of the flyaways, subtract, apply. So we'll see what the results are when this happens. And then I'll show you one other fascinating, fun trick to use. So this looks great to me. From here, you could, now I normally close it out and come back in so that I can start fresh, and I'll uncheck that. So I can click that little mark and it'll disappear. And then these smaller issues will normally clean themselves up pretty decently. So now I'm going to close it. There's a little bit of a marking here which I don't love, so I will check this again and do a little bit more focused cleaning here, and subtract, apply, and now I'm going to show you a fun option they have when you're using this particular tool. So from here, I think it looks great, but you can click the variations right here. So you can and watch up here the results. So that's variation 2, quite slight, variation 3, slight, but I actually liked variation 1 the best. It looked more natural. So now, and I would go in and clean up all of these. I'll do it with the quicker version of that here. And you can see it made another mark here. So I'll clean that up. And then I'll clean that up. And you can see for smaller things, this quicker version of it is quite fast and useful. Now, the reason I do like that one here, I'm going to zoom in even tighter here on her face. So with this not checked, it's going to be the faster version. I'm going to get rid of these flyaways. And this one, this one, this one. And you can see it's doing a fantastic job. I'm going to get rid of that. And a little swipe here, and here, and then here. And you can just see it's, natural things happen. The hair got stuck in the lip gloss. No big deal. Happens to all of us who wear lip gloss. So I'm going to get rid of that. So far, it's doing a great job. And then I'll tell you one other thing. When you're editing, I to get rid of all of these. Let's see what kind of job it does on that. It didn't do an amazing job, but it did pretty good. And then I'm going to get rid of this and this. And let's see what happens here. So now, when you need it to be quite particular, this is where you're going to want to check the box and come back in here and apply it, subtract and apply. And you should get a little cleaner result here. Yes, see? Now, what I will tell you when you're editing, whether it's using the healing or cloning tool or the generative AI, you, on the Mac, if you hit the backslash, this is your beginning image. So you always want to make sure you're not doing any crazy edits. You just want it to be clean and timeless. So if I zoom back out and we take a peek at the hair up here, before, after, before, after. So even the after, I still don't love that. I would go back in and clean that up. But this is what I'm going to talk about right now. This peeling and sun. If you use this generative AI, it won't clean all of this up exactly. It'll do a pretty decent job. But I will also show you how to go into Photoshop. And so it didn't do a whole lot there. It worked great on the hair, didn't do a whole lot here. But with the generative AI, it is very close to the spot healing tool in Photoshop. It's getting there. It's fantastic if you don't want to move into Photoshop to remove those little hairs like I did. Now, the reason why I'll tell you it's so great is because if I were to use the healing tool, which is the Band-Aid, whenever I click on something, I have to choose what I'm replacing it with. So in this instant, it worked great. But with the Band-Aid, with the healing tool, if you do something here and you want to choose a different area, if it gets too close to the hair, see how it takes on the hue of the hair. And then if you do cloning, which is the exact replica, it's taking the different lighting of this white area and putting it here, and you can see that doesn't match. So that's where this generative AI comes in so handy, because it's so much more intuitive. And if I erase taking, so it did the generative, I forgot to click it off, but let me just start over on that. If I unclick it and do the generative AI, this quicker version, it does a really good job, and it doesn't pick up the color of the hair. So that is one reason I really love this new feature in Lightroom. But to correct this, if we pop into Photoshop, so you go Photo, Edit in Photoshop, and that will pop up in a second here. I'll show you how I correct tan lines and some of that peeling. And she's a really good example for using these particular tools. And she's such a beautiful young lady, and it comes out really nicely. So I'll show you. So this is the remove tool, and it's similar to that generative AI. So it kind of picks up what's around what you're trying to clean up. And so like, see how it brought some of that skin tone in? It won't do a great job here. So then you'll take the brush and you'll use your brackets. So the right hand bracket makes it bigger, lower left one makes it smaller. And if you see up here, I have opacity at 35. I don't want it 100%, and you'll see why. With your brush and you click the option button on your Mac, you'll see the eyedropper comes up. So this is the color I want to bring into this area. So I'm going to click it. So now my brush has that color on it. And I'm just going to fill it in, and it's at 35%. And if I click it again, come back in, brush over it, it makes it, you're blending and you're building the color. And just ever so gentle against that dress area. And I probably will put a little bit here. Now, this is where the remove tool comes in, because like I said, it picks up content, it's content aware, it picks up the colors from around it and puts it there. So if you use your bracket to make that a little bit bigger, I'm going to brush through here, and I grabbed a little bit of this color, so now you can see it's kind of filling that color in to be a little bit more natural. And I'll brush it over here and here, and I'll make it smaller and brush it in here, here, and you can see it's really blending nicely. See how that blends in? And I'm going to do a little bit more, and a little bit more here, here. Now I could color this a bit, and I'll go ahead and do it just so you can see it. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I'll grab some color, blend that in now, and I'm not getting super specific because it would just make the video way too long. But this just gives you an idea of what's possible when you combine Lightroom and Photoshop. I love Lightroom. I love it. I swear by it. But now you can see we're getting more even coverage. And then I want to pop a little bit more color here. So I'm just going to do a little bit there. Grab the remove and blend it just a little bit more. Now here you can see I got it on the pink a little bit, so I'm just going to clean that up a smidge. Beautiful. So if you click this eye right here, before, after, before, after. Now I will preface this final edit with this topic or statement. Before I had these images printed, and of course I spent a little bit more time than that, so it was a lot cleaner looking. I did run it by the mom of this daughter to make sure she was happy with how we camouflaged the sun that she had gotten, just to make sure she knew what the skin tone was going to look like. It's difficult to keep a lot of the texture of the skin tone when you're doing this, but I do feel like the final edit looks better than printing this, the sun damage. So, but she's a beautiful, beautiful young lady, and I feel like this did a great job. So I'm going to go ahead and do my flatten. Let's see here. So let's zoom back out, and we will flatten it. And now I'm going to save it. So once you save your image, you can watch it here. It'll pop right back into Lightroom. So it's done saving. I'll X out, and now so now it's the image I'm working on. This was let's get us back into Lightroom here. This is the before, this is the after, and because the image is farther away, it does look more natural. So what I would do here, and normally I would have done it before I even popped into Photoshop, is I would have grabbed my brushes and I would have done a very gentle, just a super gentle skin smoothing that I always do, and that kind of does a final cleanup on the skin. I'll give her a good eye pop, and again, we're just enhancing her natural beauty. And I would go in and finish touching up, some flyaways, little things here, but overall, that's how you're using the generative AI. So without this checked, you're going to get quicker response. When it's checked, you're going to get more accurate response. The unclicked is more accurate when you're dealing with smaller issues like this. Boom, took it out, looks amazing. So something to play around with. I hope this helps. I have a plethora of videos up for editing, and if you want to see anything else, go ahead and message me. I'd be happy to add it to the playlist, and click subscribe. Love to see you on the channel. And in the meantime, check out my class, Mastering the Art of Senior Photography. It is online. Go at your own place. Go at your own pace. There's editing videos, PDFs, cheat sheets, location scouting, posing, all kinds of things. Check out the class. Would love to see you in there. With that, have a great day.